So I wanted to show you some clips of Msnbc after the Democratic presidential debates. Wanted to show how they target Bernie Sanders and how they're going after him and saying anything they can to make him look bad. Now, regardless of whether someone likes Bernie Sanders or not, I want to highlight the idea that the media companies are owned by the billionaire class, and the policies that he proposes are a big threat to them.
Losers. I think Bernie is a great example of a place where everyone wasn't sure what to make of his performance. I sort of thought he faded into the background. He didn't have a big standout moment, and his polls have sort of faltered a little, but not monumentally.
Didn't you think it was a replica of Bernie being Bernie? Like if there were a hall of the states for losers that lose these elections, he's not a loser, but he loses elections, he would be behaving like that automaton. That was Bernie being Bernie, the way that Larry David portrayed.
I was just going to say Larry David, Chris. No, I think with one other candidate in the race, Bernie being Bernie was fine in 2016, or rather it served him well. But on a stage with 9 other candidates and with now 25 people in the race,
You're so smart. That's exactly. Whenever somebody says something, I've been thinking better than I do. I thought it's very hard to talk revolution when there's 9 people around you that are not in the revolution. How do you claim there's a revolution going on when you got all these Andrew Yang and everybody else there?
Well, and Bernie's also saying the same thing he said in 2016 this time around. I think that's not working.
That's exactly the point I was going to make, is that America has evolved in the last 4 years. People's perspectives have changed. Bernie Sanders sounds like 2015 Bernie Sanders. And if you've expected some evolution and you haven't gotten it from him, a lot of people stretching their
Has he been stolen his lines from the left? Because you've got Kamala, much younger, talking pretty hard stuff, pretty strong progressive stuff. You've got Elizabeth, who's been out there for 4 years selling it, and she says it in a somewhat more subtle way. I'm not a socialist, I'm a Democrat. I believe in markets, but
When they talk about how the country's evolved, it's almost as if they're implying that Bernie should be talking more about race issues. They should be talking more about LGBT issues instead of economics. Yes, those are important to many people, but they do not affect the same amount of individuals as socioeconomic issues, because socioeconomic issues encompasses everyone. Them saying that the message of 2015, 2016, when he was running before, isn't working, it's almost as if they are indicating that the economy has just gotten better for everyone, that there are people that are less frustrated today with the economy than there were 4 years ago.
on the left, because you've got Kamala, much younger, talking pretty hard stuff, pretty strong progressive stuff. You've got Elizabeth, who's been out there for 4 years selling it, and she says it in a somewhat more subtle way. I'm not a socialist, I'm a Democrat. I believe in markets, but I want to refine them, I want structural change. Very carefully calibrating how far left the country's willing to go. Still, Bernie's out there with the old left.
Yeah, I think so, Chris, and I also think that voters know that Bernie Sanders has been talking about these same policies essentially since he's been in public service for the past 25, 30 years, but he actually hasn't done anything to pass them, right? He's talked a lot about them, but we have not seen any of these policies signed into law. So you've got Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, new senators on the scene, who I think voters are looking at them and saying, you know what, these ladies may actually have a chance to get these policies.
The reporter claiming that he hasn't done anything, that he hasn't passed anything, is slightly misleading. He's been working to get Amazon workers raises. He's been working to get Disney workers raises. He passed a Yemen Resolution Act, which was then vetoed by Trump. And so it's not quite accurate, this portrayal that they are giving of Bernie being completely talking. I wanted to, again, highlight the idea. I am not a democratic socialist. I am in favor of mixed economies. But I don't feel that the media has been especially fair to Bernie. So I wanted to ask the question, why is the media continually criticizing Bernie? Is it because he actually is doing poor in his debate performance? Or could it be because the media is owned by the billionaire class and he poses a threat to them, especially when he says that we should have Medicare for all, and a lot of billionaires have money invested with the insurance companies and big pharmaceutical companies? Or could it be for a completely other reason? I want you to go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments. One of those options, put down which one you think it is, and also go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We're going to continue to have good content about politics, history, societal issues.